Under the local body input, the Rodney Local Board would like to have a say when we get to the Woodhill Sands update during the confidential project part of the day. So now I'm going to move to item 7.1, which is the Hukura Independent Maori Statutory Board Funding Agreement. I don't know who's addressing us on that. Nick Tura. Where's David Taipari? Or members. Anyhow, Nick, this is pretty good. We've got in a good space here, so will you run us through what we've read? But it looks pretty good, and they have had, I notice, some changes in terms of their rent agreements, which have reduced their actual running costs and shifted them in with Ngāti Whātua, which has probably improved events as well anyhow. So it's up to you. Thank you, Nick.
Tēnā tātou kia koutou mā aku rangatira mihi kawana i rungi o koutou. Tuatai kia koe te koromatua tainoa ki tō mātou kahi katoa rua me ki ko Desley. Tainoa atu kia koutou mā o te kaunihira mihi atu. It's a real pleasure to be here today to present this paper to you. As the Mayor indicated, this is a positive report. And I just want to firstly start off by acknowledging the really constructive working relationship we have with Haukura, the Independent Māori Statutory Board. We've worked really closely with the Secretariat on this funding agreement, including sorting out some particular pain points of previous years inside this. By way of background, the funding agreement is an annual statutory requirement of the Local Government Auckland Council Act, and it enables Haukura to carry out its independent role under the Local Government Act. The recommendation is to approve the funding agreement for the 2026-27 financial year. The proposed direct operational funding is $3.134 million. That represents a modest increase of 2.7% or $82,599. This increase is really driven by inflationary adjustments for staff and board remuneration, along with the 0.5% increase in employee KiwiSaver contributions. The increase has been reviewed by Council Finance staff and is in line with the Council assumptions, as well as reviewed by the Council's legal team. Haukura has maintained a largely consistent budget over recent years, with increases limited to remuneration inflationary adjustments. It's also really pleasing to report there has been a bit of a shift in the accommodation situation, which I understand was a point of conversation for a number of the previous years. So there has been an agreement reached, and Haukura will be moving down to the Ngāti Whātua area in Te Toangaroa, and there's an approximate savings of $750,000 over 6 years compared with the current accommodation. Just finally, approving the agreement provides continuity, meeting Council's statutory obligation, and supports the ongoing positive and constructive relationship between us. For those reasons, staff are recommending that the governing body approve this funding agreement, and I'm happy to take questions. Koromatua.
Very well done. Thank you for that presentation. Councillor Turner has a question.
Thank you. Just a question. So there's been a $700,000 savings made by going to different premises, but there's still an $82,000 increase. So where have we lost that savings?
So that is a direct contribution towards inflationary pressures, as well as through the remuneration. So on a biannual basis, there is an obligation for us to renew the salaries of board members that sit on that board. That's a legislative requirement, and that is done by an independent. So there's been an increase in those salaries, and that, alongside the inflationary pressures, as well as the increases in the excuse me, in the KiwiSaver contributions, that combined thing has meant that modest increase.
So it's a different system that sets those salaries, those representative salaries, compared to the system that sets our representative salaries, is that correct?
Not quite. So basically, the salaries are set as a proportion of the salaries of council members. I understand that to be about 80% of that salary members. It's reviewed by an independent, and then that there is presented back. So that's how that works.
And is that salary band constructed like it is here, where depending on the jobs you're given makes a different level of salary?
Yes, that is. I understand that to be the case. So if the chair, for example, would have a particular pay bracket, as well as if you are on if you're on committees, etc., etc.
I'd also ask, but you probably can't answer, what that figure up there is in a percentage relation to the figure that it takes to run this table here.
I can't answer that, but if you would like,
I
Councillor,
would be interested to know. Thank
I
you.
can ask finance to provide that for us.
Thank you.
Okay. I have no further questions. In the absence of, would you like to move this, Alf? And seconded by Councillor Ferry. Okay, thank you very much. You can retire. Is anyone debate about this, or seems not unusual? All those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, carried. Large thumb from Sarah Patterson-Hamlin. Okay, that's very good indeed. We're now leading to the